Hey, welcome everybody. Today we have JT Bestball with us, and we are going to draft a sprint. What what's going on, man?
Pretty good, pretty good. How about yourself? Thanks for having me, sir.
Hey, no problem. I know my streaming time is a little rougher for some people to actually come on, and uh, because it's the end of some people's workday, all that stuff, and most
Mm.
people are busy in the middle of the day. I'm not, so
Yeah, certain days it wouldn't be too bad. Mondays is actually a pretty good day. Generally, we my girls got home from their soccer thing they do about 3 o'clock or so, and it's a late lunch day, and we got our lunch out the way and stuff, and so I
yeah,
have time. Should be
nice,
fun.
nice. I gonna do something real quick. I don't think my YouTube page was loading correctly. Whatever, it's
Uh oh.
fine. It on the YouTube side, it's fine. It's not showing the concurrent viewers correctly, but that's like a minor thing. We're gonna go ahead and enter in because these spreads can take a while to fill. So I'm gonna go ahead and enter. Not gonna give a countdown. I highly doubt it matters. Yeah, there's six to
No,
go.
not on a sprint.
Yeah, not on a sprint. Um, So we have six to go. I will start posting in the discords and stuff to try to get that. Um, I usually just post in the pound. They have plenty of people there. So
I still
what?
need to try to get more into Discord. It's like I always find myself because I want to be active somewhere, and I always find myself having to make the choice between Discord or Twitter with the little bit of social media time that I have. And I think the reason with Twitter it's kind of a one-stop shop, other than like
Right.
your direct messages and just I pretty much stay on just my notifications because I have all notifications clicked for anybody pretty much that I follow or want to see stuff from. Um,
I
Whereas in Discord you got to kind of jump around and stuff.
I like the layout of Discord a lot better once you get used to it. That's just me though. So what is your strategy for sprint? I know you were saying the other day you want to start doing more sprints. I'm personally wanting to do more sprint than BBM. So
Well, just because if from like me and you've talked before in the past about how like I'm not saying week 17 isn't important in a regular tournament. It is most definitely important. But at the same time, I'm probably not as super high, meaning just my priority list. So like when I build a team for a regular tournament, outside of maybe super flex or eliminator, my kind of priorities is always first and foremost my team and what kind of team correlation I can get within my team. Meaning, like, all right, I got a running back and a receiver from the same team, or I got my
yeah,
quarterback, I got them double stacked. And then, kind of, my second priority, and I've kind of been this way the last few years, is rather than just focusing on week 17 as that kind of next priority, I just take like a player's overall playoff schedule into consideration. And I want to target guys that one, I like as a player, and two, I really like overall their 3 game little stretch there. Because, like, to get
right.
to week 17, we got to get out of 15 and 16, anyways. Like a good example for me is Josh Jacobs. I started the year kind of in on him, but once their schedule came out, I really am kind of out on Jacobs just because I hate that 3 game stretch that he has. I think it's Cleveland, Chicago, at Cleveland, at Chicago, and then at home against Baltimore, if I believe. Um,
Give me a second.
let's see if I was
Green
right.
Bay is. Why can't I read? I don't know why.
I
Okay.
can
Oh, I
say
have a sort.
there it
I have
is.
a
Yeah,
bye
or
week. I
at
forgot.
Denver. I was off on one of
Yeah.
them. At Denver, at Chicago, and at home against Baltimore. That just isn't really, the ideal thing for a running back, in my opinion,
Yeah.
who
I
goes as high as he does.
I agree. And there's a couple players that like I feel like some of them are just bullets I dodged, like DK Metcalf. Like the Steelers, they have what why am I blanking? I've been my mind's been a little cloudy. I did nothing but sleep the last 2 days, so I'm
Yeah, I don't know. I can't find Pittsburgh either on yours.
they're
Also,
week
right there
five.
they are,
They're week
number
five.
5.
Yeah, but they get Miami, but then it's Detroit and Cleveland. I think
Mhm.
Detroit's going to have a reasonable defense. Yeah, Miami is good, but Detroit, Cleveland, like Detroit's probably just going to be way up on them, which may be good for DK himself. But Cleveland is a really bad matchup to me. Um,
I'm
and
not
there
super
was,
in on him either.
yeah, I didn't think you were. There was one team that is like a good offense that had like just an awful schedule. Um, and I like so Cleveland, like they get Chicago, Bills, and Pittsburgh. So like even if you like Cleveland's price, like it's hard to believe, especially in a Week 17 matchup, because not that the Bills or Chicago are going to have elite defenses, but they should be respectable, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah, for sure.
and then it's New England's one of those teams. The Baltimore and at Jets. We
Mhm.
suspect they will have reasonable defenses. So we are still waiting on 6 for the sprint. I, I'll give it another 5 to 10 minutes, and if we can't get it to fill, we'll bounce out and do an eliminator or something. Uh, I feel like these are hard to fill, so I was hoping we could get some. I think they're easier to fill in the evening as well. I think
Okay.
there's more people available.
And I kind of think as we go more and more, right now it's probably one of the deadest times. It's like we're far enough past the OTAs that there's really not much,
True.
NFL wise going on. Everyone's kind of, unless you're just someone like us that's going to draft every day, no matter what. Anyways, people are probably kind of holding off, and what do we have, another 9 days or something like that until camps really get going.
Yeah. I I'm curious what you see my poll question. It's what contest do you want next? What are you hoping for? Are you
I saw it. I didn't answer it yet. Puppy 2, Super Flex, Pomeranian, Rookie and Sophomore, and Mini Schnauzer 3. I
I
don't
just
know. I'd be open to kind of all of them. I'm not as Super Flex, bro, as some of you guys were. I know you maxed it, didn't you?
yeah, I maxed it.
I
And
think I got like 37 of them in or something like that. It To me, it's a contest that, like, if they drop another one, I'll probably play, a handful of them and stuff like that. But it's not something that I want to go like super heavy on. I wouldn't mind a puppy two. I got very little puppy one in because that was still when I was like, on DK pretty much every night. And when I moved over to Underdog, I think I got in maybe like 5 or 6 puppies, and then that's when it filled pretty much. So I wouldn't mind one of those.
puppies are pretty awesome because the 1 of 10 advance doesn't feel near as gross as the BBM. It's not easy by any means. There's a ton of money up top, and you can just shotgun them and play them forever, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
because you get 150 chances. So I think they need a 150 max entrant thing in the lobby of some sort. Uh, I could see them putting out like another puppy and like they had a $7 max last year that was like 10. I think it was like a $7 max or something. I can't remember what it was, but yeah. So we are probably not going to be able to fill this. So we will go ahead and leave this draft.
No
And
worries.
yeah, I mean, if you end up staying for a second one, we can just do that. But we'll just do an eliminator, a 20-second eliminator. They like to be honest, like we could probably fill a BBM as well. I'm up for whatever.
It's all your call, man. I don't care. I'm good for whatever you want to draft.
We'll try a BBM. That should fill, and I haven't done one this week, so we will enter we'll do try a 30-second one and see how that goes. Waiting on 7. I assume this won't fill either, and we'll bounce out and go to the other one. Um,
Yeah. I'm good with that if you want to. I
I
think
think,
me and you are kind of one of the only ones
yeah,
it seems, or not one. I'm sure there's others, but of the people who draft, let's say, a fair amount to a whole lot. You draft way more than me. I don't have the time to draft anywhere near as much as you
right.
do. But
Uh,
I know we're
uh,
both kind of like not super into, making sure we have a ton of BBMs.
Right. We are on 22nd BBM, and there are 3 spots now. So go ahead, jump in, show us how to draft. We yeah, the EV does seem to be a little better in the 30-second ones, but it takes like I've only done a couple of these, and it feels like the more casual people want the more time, right? Like that makes sense. So the people that don't like just shotgun and draft all day, those people, and there's nothing wrong with that. They tend to like the 30-second ones because I mean, especially if you're coming over from like just doing home leagues and stuff. Like if you normally just do home leagues, hey, look at that. We get the 101. Al
Nothing
Boogie,
wrong with that.
Al Boogie
Nothing
got the
wrong with that.
102. Um, I've seen Donita around. Anybody else make it in? I don't see anyone else, but
Not that I recognize.
we and Boogs are up here. Hopefully, he doesn't naked burrow snipe me uh, or us again. Uh, I don't really like. I'm not really that worried about getting Burrow or not for myself. I don't know how you feel about it, but and I assume you are Jamar Chase 101 every time.
Yes, Jamar Chase 101. I don't
Yeah,
know if I have Burrow on the Chase team simply because, like, I don't know, maybe just a hard-headedness in me. I refuse to take him at the 4 or 5 turn when
I
I know he can be gotten at the 6 7 turn. So I
well,
always push it, and I
and
haven't got it yet.
I think it depends on the contest. So in the time box contest, like in this, there's going to be 800,000 teams, right?
Hmm.
So the Burrow Chase teams at the 6 7 turns are just going to be usually stronger, but a good like, and I'm kind of leaning towards this side. Uh, no, thank you, sir. Uh, but I kind of think that I would rather just have 3 or 4 Burrow teams versus the one that you get DK Metcalf with it. And I think there's a pretty big teardrop at like pick 46. I think there's like, to me, like Hampton and James Cook is kind of a tear break, and Devonta Smith to DK Metcalf and the rest of those guys. And if
Yeah,
I can
so
get
you're
2 of
saying
those players, I like taking both of them and pushing Burrow. And if not, I like, to me, the difference between DK Metcalf and George Pickens and Ricky Pearsall and Steph Diggs and Jacoby Myers, like it's a difference, but I don't think it's. I think I would rather have 3 of those other teams versus one with DK Metcalf on it. You know,
no, I totally agree with you on that. And you know, you were talking about the running backs and I mean the wide receivers in specific, but like if one of those wide receivers that you like isn't there, at least for me, there's always like a bunch of running backs that kind of go near the 4 or 5 turn, or not a bunch, but I know like Hampton's sometimes there, Cook. I like those guys too. So it's like, yeah, I
yeah,
agree. I'm always pushing them. I do need to figure out a backup plan though, because I'm also really high on Wilson this year, and so like a lot of times if he's there, I'll grab Wilson at the 2-3 turn, thinking, all right, well I'm gonna push Burrow to 6-7, but if I miss out on
Yeah.
Burrow, then I always have Fields kind of right at ADP or a little ahead later, and
I,
so I probably have a decent amount of Jamar Chase, Wilson, and Fields together at this point, I would
so
think.
what I've actually ended up doing a lot, and it just so happens, and it's not necessarily in BBM, but I get Jamar Chase and then like two players at whatever. It doesn't really matter at the 2-3, but I'm taking Jalen Hurts and Devonta Smith. They both fall to me at the turn, and I'm going to take that every time it's available. And then those are the only times Joe Burrow also falls back. But I'm just like, I'm fine with this. I'm fine with just having Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts, and being done. Like, um, the other thing about it is, like, if you take T Higgins, you like, if you don't take T Higgins, you're not going to get him back at the 6-7, right? But if you take
Mhm.
T Higgins, like, it severely limits your quarterback outs.
It's hard, but I've seen it done. I have seen
Oh,
somebody with the Jamar Chase
I
team, and they didn't take Higgins, and they lucked out and got Burrow because the Higgins drafter took Hurts and didn't want to do it or something.
yeah, yeah, like that stuff happens. It does. I have a team like that, I believe. I know you're not very big on Bucky Irving, so
It's
um,
not it's not my account. We can take him if you want. I mean, I don't know, and I could be wrong. I'm always the first to say I could very much be wrong on him.
yeah.
So I guess it would just depend if
You were talking about the playoff schedule. Their playoff schedule is pretty nutty.
yeah, their playoff schedule is very very good.
Do
He
we
went
want
anyway,
to
so
set ourselves up for failure here?
we could. It's okay. I mean, there's a couple guys I like pulling up like Wilson and Adams, but I'm like I said,
I,
I'm kind of not in on Jacobs myself.
I'm not
How are
really
you on Harrison? I see you're pretty low on Harrison.
very low. Um,
Like I said, this is
I
where I like to pull Wilson up, and then you kind of have that.
I'm
If
fine.
somebody wants to take Burrow
Yeah, yeah.
unstacked, you can kind of do the Fields thing later.
I like that. And yeah, so Harrison, I don't think there's any chance Harrison to be going at pick 24, 25 if they weren't playing week 17. I
I agree.
I think that he would be going 6, 7, 8 picks later. Like, do I think it's a fine if it wasn't something that's being done over and over and over again, I think it's a fine pull up. But
Mm.
I don't know if you've seen like or heard any of that DraftKings information that came out, but like it's like insane how often Jamar Chase and T Higgins is being paired with Trey McBride and Marvin Harrison. So yeah, and it's just an as Best Ball on Call is saying here, it's just an ADP anchoring, and not all ADP anchoring is good. And like something I personally tried to do this year, I actually think Garrett Wilson is a bit of an ADP anchor. I'm not that big on him this year, but like I I if he hits, he's going to hit in a gigantic way. Is kind of how it is. Uh, so I'm personally not going to do a lot of teams with him, but I don't mind sprinkling him in, and I do like the idea of taking him to push Burrow to then get Justin Fields. I think that, and honestly, like I would be fine with Burrow and Fields. Like it just they call it good.
Exactly. If
So
we got Burrow to come to the 6-7 and then Fields is
yeah,
there later still at ADP, sure, why not?
yeah,
I think for me, my Wilson thing is like I agree with you. I agree with you that like if Fields is healthy all year and he hits, it's gonna be massive. And on top of that, for me, it's just like I really don't like a lot of guys in the early third round. Like Hill was kind of living there, and so I have a lot of Hill, but now Hill is starting to go more in the second there. I don't really like Bucky. I don't really like Josh Jacobs. I'm out on JSN, but it's more of a Darnold thing. So it's like for me, I tend to take a lot of Wilson and a lot of Adams just because they're there, with those first few picks in the third round, and I don't really love anyone else. I actually started pulling my boy Lamar up to the early third a couple of times just
Yeah,
because
I don't mind that
I'm
either.
starting to get too much Wilson and too much Adams. So I'm like,
So to be
well,
honest with you, based on what I'm seeing in the room right now, I think there's a reasonable chance that we actually could push Burrow back around, unless the 6 hole decides to do it. Because like they allowed Jaden Daniels to come all the way back to the cherry drafter. Um, Al Boogie is threatening, but he don't have the balls to do it. Uh,
mhm.
I'll let
Well,
him
and
burn
the
his.
6 hole just took Hurts too. So I mean, I know he has Brown, but I think with that fifth and sixth round pick, he's gonna really be needing to start catching up with receiver. Having a
Right, right.
a tight end and running backs and a quarterback.
The question is, does he know that?
That is
Like
true.
that's the only question that matters is does he know that he needs to catch up a receiver? He might think he's right. I am definitely worthy here,
I
and
like Worthy.
another player. Like so, it does put us in 3 by week 10s. I'm not that worried about it, but
No, just you can have
we.
three of them and just make sure you don't take another one.
So is it Devonta Smith, DK Metcalf, Travis Hunter?
For me, it would be we can go Worthy, and then with the other pick, I would either go Smith or Pickens.
Well,
Well, I guess go
yeah,
Smith because Pickens is week 10 also.
yeah.
That
That's
wouldn't
why
make
I
sense.
didn't mention him.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We
I
could. I mean,
saw it as I was saying
we
it.
could even pull up Chuba or Kenneth Walker if you want, but
No, let's do it this way. If we miss
sounds
out
good.
on Burrow, I like that way. We're
Yeah,
loaded at receiver to where we can wait a while before we go back to
we
receiver.
we do
See if
have
we can get Burrow to.
very limited options at quarterback if Burrow goes though, because the Rashid drafter will take him. So if we don't get them, then we're just naked drafting at that point, and we have 5 receivers. So we pretty much cannot take a receiver with this next pick. If
But there's some guys, that we could
yeah,
always backsack with tight
yeah,
end
yeah,
that, will be there. And, one thing I was just talking with somebody, or maybe it was just on my stream the other night. Trying to be more open. I think one of, we always try to say, what can we improve on, right? I heard you talking about your layering this year, how you're trying to be better with your layering and stuff. And one of the things that I think I can improve on some this year versus last year is being willing to just take a good quarterback unstacked. I think in the past, sometimes I have tried almost to a fault to make sure, oh, well, I can't take this guy or I can't take that guy because I'm not going to have a good stack. Now, sure, with the rushing guys, you're more likely to take them unstacked. But like with the pure
yeah.
pocket passers, Steve
I
is kind of really the one who's kind of warmed me up more to that, I guess, listening to him talk more and more about how it's not the end of the world.
I think it's price dependent though. Like Joe Burrow is a bad one to do it with because of the price,
Oh, yeah,
but
no,
like
100.
Justin Herbert, uh, like once you get down to like rounds 11, 12, 13, yeah, whatever. And
Yeah, those
I've
are.
ac-
Oh, good.
I've actually been doing running back stacks with the quarterback a lot more often this year. And the main one I'm getting to, it just tends to happen this way. It's Hampton and Herbert. I'm number one, I don't think a lot of people are doing that. But number two, we know like Najee can catch the ball, but Hampton is better at it. And I assume that will be something that happens. I think Herbert's a little underrated overall. Um, so I want access to the Chargers this year in a lot of ways, and I think he's a really good one to do for sure. Like, and I don't mind taking. There we go.
You
I
called
called it. I called it.
it.
I said the only one we had to
Hey,
worry about is this 6 hole here.
You know what? Travis Hunter's his first receiver though, and he's not picking again until
Yeah,
round 7. Whatever. He's paying the rate probably.
yeah. So we pretty much have to go running back here. I think
I would agree.
in my opinion, that way it leaves us 2 wide receiver options for backstacking later. Um, I mean, we could just take one more receiver and be done, but we might be screwed at quarterback as well. What's up, Hartman? Hey, if you guys are just popping in, if you could smash the like, that would be fantastic. We got 20 watching. We got 10 likes. But Al Boogie
Let's
will
see what
probably take.
Al Boogie does. I was just about to say, let's see what he does first, because okay, if it was me, I would actually go Judkins and then just go ahead and take another receiver just because I'm not that in on Demont, even if it doesn't leave us back stacks, unless you want to reach down for like maybe a Swift. I'd be okay with Swift as a
Um,
second running back.
I definitely want Judkins. Are you thinking Ricky or Golden?
Either one, probably Golden. Let's go with the late season upside since we have, so much up
Sounds
top
good.
already.
Yeah. And then we can pretty much just be done. Like, so we could be. I
Yeah.
think we may have to add a. I don't know. Is Garrett Wilson, Devonta Smith, Golden good enough for Week 10? I think we're fine with that. I think. I
I
think
mean, it's
that
1 week, right? Like,
yeah, it's 1 week. They should at least put up points. Like they, unless one of them gets hurt or something,
mhm,
right? And a lot of the pods that I won in, like I was up by 30, 40 points, right? It wasn't like there are pods that are separated by a very few amount of
mhm,
points, but I don't want to sacrifice value elsewhere because of that.
mhm. Yeah. Hey, real quick, while it's on the long side, I'm gonna be right back. Okay, I
Hey,
apologize.
hey, no problem. Hey, so Al Boogie, I left W10 guys on purpose to see if you'd take them. Yeah, I figured. Um, but yeah, I actually don't mind Devin Montgomery. I don't love it, but I I was number one. I was wanting to do a sprint, not a BBM. But for BBM, like I don't mind this start as much. And where is the Rasheed Rice? The Rasheed Rice drafter doesn't have a quarterback yet, so there's like zero chance we get him. Um, and then if when Al Boogie takes naked Fields on us, then we're just backstacking. It'll be fine.
Hey, it's all right though. We'll make it work, man. That's part of why I like the golden pick there. It opens up another one too that we can still play with later.
Yeah, and I I I've actually started just taking three late quarterbacks and just stacking them with the tight end, like Chig and Cam Ward. Like just take Cam Ward a little early and take Cam or take Chig a little early if you have to. Like this is the problem with going Burrow Chase or Chase Higgins. Like if you also take Devonta Smith, like it massively limits your options. But Devonta Smith also is a Week 17 bring back for the Golden as well.
Mm-hmm.
So like that all also correlates pretty well. There is something we could do here that I don't love, but it would be fine. Um, I I've done it before, but I hated the team,
Uh-oh.
and I'll just say it. It's taking Kyler Murray as the bring
Yeah.
back, but I refused it. I pretty almost refused to take Michael Wilson, and like so it's literally just taking a naked quarterback, and
Well, there you go. He's
yeah,
he's gonna
I
make the
don't.
three holes gonna make sure
I
you
didn't
don't
want to
have
do
to.
that anyway. So we will take him if he's available, and if not, all right.
Yeah,
So
I
we'll
would
take
say
Fields.
Fields and a running back here.
Are
That would
you?
be my thinking. Warren, yeah, I'm in on Warren. That would probably be my choice.
I think I like that as well. Yeah, I think that's a pretty easy layup there for Fields and Warren. So through 9 rounds, we have Justin Fields, Judkins, Jalen Warren, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Garrett Wilson, Xavier Worthy, Devonta Smith, and Matthew Golden. So yeah, I like this. This may end up being one of those like at least it's definitely 6 wide or running back. It could end up being 7 running back. I don't know. Like we'll see how it plays out. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I really like the running backs at the end of the draft, so
Me
I
too.
don't mind getting there and taking a few extra, like being a little weaker, like at the next turn taking a tight end and a running back or something, and then uh, being weaker, just having 3 by round 10, but being weaker overall at running back and then just smashing volume. I really don't mind doing that, especially on BVM. I do tend to play safer in like the Chihuahuas and stuff where the advance rate's a lot safe or a lot nicer. I think
Mm-hmm.
it kind of, and maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like it might pay a little better to play safer in those, which is weird to say, but like you don't have to win a 1 of 13, 1 of 16. So you don't have to hit the nuts,
No,
right?
exactly, exactly. And just real quick, right before I stepped out for a minute, you were talking about the late tight end thing, like you used the example of Cam Ward, with Chig, and that's so smart. I was just talking with somebody the other day. I'm totally like that too. Like I actually, that's one thing I do try to do is stack, especially if it's a tight end where, I mean, a room where I know I'm going to be drafting, say, 3 later tight ends, then I do try my best to work it to where like as many of them as I can are stacked with the quarterbacks, because those are the type of guys at tight end that like the only time they're really going to be really nice on your lineup is, when they have that day where it's 4 for 60 yards and they got in the end zone, or a random 2 touchdown game. And so I just feel like that's a great way to capitalize off of it is, okay, well, if you have those type of tight ends paired with your quarterback, then you're almost, your quarterback probably had a really good day too, because he's still also throwing to the receivers. So no, I definitely like that thinking.
Yeah, I really do. Like I don't have that much Cam Ward. He tends to go earlier than his ADP in almost every room I'm in. And I think a lot of people are realizing that he actually has the rushing upside. So with the rushing upside, like it, even if you and like you get to just pick a random receiver in the last round. They have 3 options, you know.
Hmm.
Um,
What are we looking at on the board here as far
I
as players available?
I have 2 players that I would love to get. I don't think Al Boogie's going to take them, and it would be Tucker Kraft and Jordan Love.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. I was kind of thinking this would probably be a good range for them. That's
And then,
honestly what I was thinking too.
yep. And then, you good with that then?
Yeah, yeah.
Like
That gives us
the
our
show.
second quarterback, and he's
Yep.
double stacked.
And we're like, and this, it's fine to stop at 2 with these 2. We could add another one if we want as well, but like this sets us up for being able to take the 7th running back if we want to just take shots.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and at 144, 145, we should be able to land somebody like a Rashad White or a Austin Eckler who will give us some volume,
Mm-hmm.
like some guaranteed points early in the season to try to get us to where the rookies matter or
Yeah, I
the upside
say
ranks matter.
unless there's just something, there value wise we don't want to pass up. Yeah, I almost say that next turn, let's just double tap our favorite 2 running backs. Sounds good to me.
So last night I watched the first 2 drafts and then I went to bed. The third draft was your 10 wide receiver build, right?
10 wide receiver build.
How
Yes,
did
we
that work out?
completed it. I don't
We
remember the
completed
team.
it.
We completed the mission. That was my whole goal is I wanted to successfully complete the mission. Let me go look at it real quick. I don't remember exactly how it turned out. I remember I didn't like it as much as the rookie sophomore team, but I liked it better than my least favorite one was that running back one. It turned out kind of bad.
Yeah, I let's look and see what while you're looking that up, what Al Boogie's doing. He's got Jefferson, Bucky, Devontae, Cortland Sutton, George Pickens, Travion, David Montgomery. That Travion slide is fantastic. Like that's an awesome slide. Bo Nix, J.K. Dobbins, and JJ McCarthy. So he pushed Worthy, hoping to get Worthy back because we had a double by week 10, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
No, he because that's why he took Sutton first because there was a better chance because we probably take Sutton and Devonta, right? But Worthy, there's a better chance that, and that's like a smart move, like pushing that, hoping to get the one guy back makes some sense because a lot of people would be worried about the 3 by week 10s. I don't know, like, and then he said later that he was trying to push all the by week 10 people to us to see what would happen. And yeah, I think you could afford a third one early. Uh, I took DKRB. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I I kind of the RJ Harvey team. Like I have some RJ Harvey, um, and I think for BBM specifically, it's a better pick uh, since you have to hit the nuts. But I I've never like I liked him as a prospect, but I don't think he's near as like I don't think his prospect profile is even close to the draft capital that we have to draft him at. Like
Mm-hmm.
I personally don't believe that. And
Yeah.
it's only a Sean Payton thing, right? Like that's what
Mm-hmm.
we're doing. So
Because like before Dobbins went there, I wasn't drafting Harvey at all. Now I have taken him a few times since he's slid back a little
yeah,
bit.
yeah,
Now
when he
even
gets
when he
to
falls past ADP and he's there, and I need a
yeah,
running back,
like
I've grabbed him a couple
65 to
times.
70 ish, you
Mm-hmm.
know. Every once in a while I'll just slap him onto a team that has Xavier Worthy or something. So Eckler and Rashad White are both available. Um,
Sounds good to me. I like both of
uh,
them.
so is
I know you're not in
oh,
on my boy Blue.
I'm actually more in now. Like his ADP has dropped like 15 spots.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I don't mind it like
But
now.
no, I like Eckler and White above Blue.
Do you?
I was just thinking, yeah, yeah, yeah. I was just thinking, like, if for some reason, you know,
Yeah,
Al had took one of them.
let's look real quick. White, I definitely want. Blue, I guess they play each other. So we could do that. We could go with a tight end as well. I think a Eckler may make the most sense though. Yeah.
No, yeah, I think we could definitely use that fourth running back.
Yeah.
Judkins was our first,
And
Warren
then
our
go
second.
three
That,
rookie guys at the end.
yeah,
Sounds
yeah,
really
yeah.
fun.
Upside.
Yeah. Yep. And if we like, I don't plan on adding another wide receiver, but if we do, I'm fine with Savion at 216. I know, like it's like my go-to last round pick in everything. If I have either Eagles or Packers, I don't think it would make a ton of sense on this specific team, but
Mm-hmm.
I really like that pick. I mean I was going over it yesterday. Like Dontavian Wicks had 8 drops and Jaden Reed had 10 drops last year. And then the next season they went out and signed or they drafted a guy in the first and then they drafted a guy in the third. What if what was actually going on there is they wanted to be a passing offense, but nobody could catch the ball. So they just gave up and then just ran Josh Jacobs into the ground. Like what I haven't really heard anybody say that. Like I haven't looked at like the history of what they've done on the running game, but it and like Love was hurt and all that as well. But like Love being hurt doesn't like shouldn't affect the 18 drops. Like
Mm-hmm.
you expect some drops, but 18 between two players seems like a lot.
Yeah, no, I agree, and it's like, I still have a bad taste in my mouth from the Wick stuff last year. I wasn't like over the top on him, but I was into him like probably most everybody else was. And it was actually you who, so it was a few weeks ago. I heard you talking about Savion, and I know you take him, here and there in the 18th round or whatever. And so I went back and asked myself, why am I not into him, or why am I not taking him? And I found that now I have started taking him a couple times. I think maybe twice I've taken him
And
for that same
Bindle's
reason.
no, I still think, and I put this tweet out a week ago or so, but like I think Savion scores within 20 or so points of Jaden Reed. I think Jaden Reed is the bad pick. I think
Oh,
Jaden Reed is a
okay.
very bad pick. Uh, I I just number one, like they drafted two guys there. And that I'm using that in a lot of things. Like if they draft two guys at your position and you weren't successful the year before, like he was awesome for the first 3 or 4 weeks, and then he was nothing. So I don't know. I am not a fan. So do we want to build out the team bet with? I mean, that's way too early on Mason Taylor,
Yeah, see if he comes back to us.
but tight ends are
Um,
quarterbacks.
what pick are we at? 168. I
Yeah,
guess if we wanted to do three quarterbacks, then Gino was probably be the last guy that I'd probably want.
I think I'm fine with just those two, honestly.
I'm fine with those two. I
All
just
right,
know some
so
people
so
are
what are we
truthers about
doing?
the
Jalen
third
Wright,
quarterback.
Roshan, Braylon.
Um, I'd be okay with Roshan or Allen. Or
Okay,
go back to tight end real quick if you don't want to reach down that far. Who was up top
it's
on it?
Mason
Well,
Taylor.
on.
Like I think we could just go ahead and snap him if we
Yeah, take Taylor because he's probably not coming back to us.
right. Yeah.
I see
Uh,
you have him ranked right around where our ADP is, in it right around what pick we're at,
yep.
anyways.
Yeah, I do. He's my most drafted tight end. I have like 19%. So
And with that next pick, we talked about adding two rookies, running backs with upside. You get into some real interesting guys right there at that 16, 17 turn.
I don't think Keenan is is a landing spot for Green Bay, but
I hope
like
not.
yeah, I mean that would just make everything. Every player drafted would be worse. Like every one of them, including Savion or Keenan would probably be undraftable then too. Like I think it would just ruin everybody.
That
Um,
is one of the last places that my Keenan bags want to land.
yeah, and I'm not saying like so if Savion was being drafted every draft, I probably wouldn't be taking him. Uh,
Fair.
so and I took him in like a very early BBM, but that was because I got like fourth round Rasheed Rice. So I knew that was either the fourth round Rasheed Rice wasn't going to hold up. It was either going to drop to the seventh or move up to the second. Like
Mm-hmm.
if the bad news came in, he was going to drop way down the board. If the good news came in, he was going to go way up the board. So I didn't mind taking some shots like that, like some possible zero shots very early on those teams. But at this point in the offseason, I don't. I think you just want the projectable points in that last round, unless you're taking the shots at like the rookie running backs for this tournament. Um, and maybe I'm wrong. Like I don't love the Roshan pick, like on this specific team either. But we were out of time, and none of those picks were good. I really did not like anything that was there. Zach Ertz to me was the clear best pick on the board around there. Um, Jack Besh and Jalen Knoll would have been fine, although we didn't really want to go seven receivers. Gino, I I don't like. We can't really stack him with a quarterback, right? Cam
Mm-hmm.
Ward, like I said in all my drafts, he goes early. He went at 149 in this one, like 12 picks early. Um, and
Well, I was
then
just
Rico,
throwing fillers out there because I didn't know if
yeah,
you
yeah.
were more, like I know there's some people
Well,
that like
I
if it's not a true elite quarterback, they are almost gotta have the three on their team to feel good about it.
so I actually just end up taking a lot of like Tyler Shuck or Anthony Richardson in round 18. Just uh just take the shot. Like if especially a room like this, because this team isn't very good if Justin Fields isn't awesome. If
Mm-hmm.
the Fields Garrett Wilson thing isn't great. This team's probably not great.
For
So
me, that would be more of a reason to just like keep it at 2 though,
yeah,
and
that's
take
what I'm
the extra
saying.
bullet somewhere else.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying I'm fine with it. And like in round 18, I don't mind just tacking on a random quarterback if you need to.
Mhm.
So, and I would like a third tight end. I don't think we have to have one, but right here is kind of where I definitely want two running backs here. Are you into
Agree.
Marshawn Lloyd at all?
I don't hate him. There's guys above him I like better. My highest
Yeah,
player that I own is right there.
yeah.
And other
And
than
he
him,
will
I
be a
like
pick.
Hunter
Yeah,
and
I mean,
I like Lloyd. I like Hunter. I
these are
like
the
them
two
all.
I
I
like
like your
the
boy
most.
Smith, but it's maybe a little early for him.
So these
Not
are the
really
two I
though.
like. This is a team bet. Um, we don't. Which
I'm
route?
really good with Hunter and Giddens.
All right. And I think we specifically need rookie upside on this
Yeah,
team
yeah, yeah,
with
yeah.
like the Roshan pick to me forces that. And yeah, it's a
Hmm.
7 running back build. But
But we
I
didn't
mean,
start till Judkins, so it's
and
fine.
we literally took 6 wide receivers. I guess we didn't take 6 in a row because we took Judkins, but I mean, it's basically 6 in a row, right?
And see, we could just play with that 18th pick, if there happens to be a wide receiver there that we like better than whatever tight end comes back, because the 1-1 spot is the one spot where like sometimes it does get too gross for me, on the left side of the board when you get back to that 18th pick. The early
Yeah.
18, there's always a good, decent tight end there you can take. But sometimes if you're way over on that far left side, it gets real gross at the end for a tight end.
Right.
So that
Yeah.
was
And that's kind of why I was saying like you could just tack on a random quarterback too, like
mhm.
A Rich or Daniel Jones if they come back in that very last round.
Yeah, or your boy Savion, because we were talking about how the way that this team, it's a BBM, right? And we're gonna
Yeah.
have that outlier performance. Well, the way that this team has an outlier performance is Fields and his tight end and Wilson are killing it. But then along the same page, maybe you're right with your Green Bay really wanted to pass more and nobody couldn't catch the ball. So okay, if we have Love and we have Kraft and we have Golden and we have Williams, maybe that offensive passing game through those guys are just killing it too.
Yeah. I maybe Savion was going to have trouble like learning the playbook and all that. Like that's the part I wonder about. But they had him playing Wildcat quarterback last year. Like I highly doubt he's going to have trouble learning the playbook since he was playing partial quarterback and partial wide receiver last year in college. Like
Yeah.
I just don't feel like the offense is going to be a hard thing for him to learn. So yeah, so I think there's actually a lot of tight ends that aren't drafted very often that I'm super okay taking. This high on Paul, I've seen him in a bunch of my drafts. I'm assuming he's somewhere in the chat, maybe over on X. I don't know, but uh, so like some of the players that I don't mind taking here, like I don't mind Cole Kmet and Tyler Higbee, especially in a room that has a rookie tight end like this.
Mhm.
Um, I'm not saying it's a fantastic pick, but I think those guys or Tyler Conklin um, taking a second shot on Harold Fannin, like Tyler Higbee is going to be very, very low owned. And like if Terrence Ferguson doesn't end up like best case scenario for Ferguson is like what he's out there week 6, 7, 8, taking some targets. So Higbee's
Mhm.
at least available for the beginning of the season with Mason Taylor. Like that,
I
I
don't
think
hate it.
that I don't, and it's a team bet with Jarquez. Like I would obviously rather have this guy Theo. Like he's just a.
Mhm.
I think that's a better pick in a vacuum. Um, I'm not wanting to take him, but Taj Brooks is still available. Marshawn Lloyd is still available. Like there's a bunch of players I like still.
Yeah, no, for real.
I mean,
I
I'm
would say if one of those two running backs that's up top stick around, then it would be better to take one of those versus
I,
a third tight end.
I think that's right.
Honestly,
Actually, like I don't love those that as a two tight end room, but yeah, let's do a random 8 running back room. Let's do it. So the team a 2-7-6-2 or 2-8-6-2. Justin Fields, Jordan Love, Quinshawn, Jalen Warren, Rashad White, Eckler, Roshan, DJ Giddens, Jarquez, and Marshawn Lloyd. So we got a triple stack in Green Bay. We got Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Garrett Wilson, Worthy, Devonta Smith, Matthew Golden, and then Kraft and Mason. Yeah, I don't hate it. I think it's pretty solid. I think I think the Roshan pick should have been, but we just ran out of time. Is what happened there. I don't hate it. Like I like Roshan as a pick. I don't know if I like it here.
well, I think part of it though, our original thinking was that we were going to that Hunter would kind of been our last running back pick, knowing we were going to draft 3 more running backs.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I see what you're saying, but
No,
it
no, like it gives us like it's fine, like, but I mean we have projectable volume for sure, and now we have 2 possible upside swings, and then we got the
mhm.
replacement on an offense that we were already in, and I think I just feel like if that was a tight end, we'd feel better about it, but tight ends went weirdly fast in this draft, so
Hey, and the thing I always fall back on is they always say on Underdog, if you don't walk away from the draft feeling really iffy about one of your positions, then you probably didn't build a team that can really make some noise. We feel a little iffy about tight end, but let's tell the story, right? In
yeah.
in the scenario that this team is really doing something for us, Fields is going to be killing it. And at least as their team stands now, nobody other than Wilson and the tight end are probably, pass catchers that are going to be able to, command large targets or be a big part of the offense. I mean, so there is a world where like he's just really good for a rookie tight end and good enough that he gives us good points along with Tucker Kraft and the room ends up being okay. And if that room ends up being okay, and if Wilson and Fields are doing really well this year, then this team definitely has a chance to make some noise.
Yeah, I think we were both on board with the take Tucker Craft and Jordan Love, and I think that secured the team and made it really good. We stayed true, stopped at 6 wide receiver, and we have like I think this running back room will absolutely play. Like I
Oh
think we
yeah.
could find 2 to 3 guys every week, and we really only need to find 2 every week, right? Out of that,
But worst case, if you notice too, none of them have that week 10. So even the
yeah.
week that we were a little like thin at receiver, okay, now we only need 3 receivers because we can get
Yeah.
3 running back
Also,
scores.
also don't have a tight end by that week either.
Yeah.
So yeah. I'm gonna do another draft. I'm probably gonna do an eliminator. If you need to go, you can go. If you want to stay, you're allowed.
I'm good for one more.
Alrighty. We will be doing an eliminator, everybody. Let me find it. All right, we will be doing a 30-second pick clock eliminator, and we will be entering in 10 seconds. Hopefully, the 30-second actually fills this time, unlike the time before. Um, I It's just a little easier while you're streaming, right?
Oh,
Oh,
yeah, no, I agree.
like I think that we might have still ended up on the Roshan pick. Um, because like I said, I don't think it was a bad pick. I just think
Mhm.
it was one that I like we were in the middle of a conversation as it happened. And
Mhm.
it was like 7 seconds by the time I was like, okay, which guy? So we got Al Boogie at the 101, G Temp at the
5 spot.
102. We got the 5. Thad's got the 4. UFC Jaguars got the 6. And so the Who
Tough
Crew
room.
is all up top. We got Bob Shearer over there
Well,
is
and the fun thing about the eliminator is even in a room like this, right? We just got to be like top 6 week 1, and then we all go our merry ways after that. It's not like we're really butting heads with 5 other great drafters the whole year for just 2 spots.
right. And I think having a top 7 or 8 pick in this contest, like I think it's the opposite. I think in BBM you either want one or the back end, and in this you want a top 6 pick. I think the RB value is just awesome. Like even if you go hero RB, you usually get one, and then you go 5 straight wide receivers. Like those teams feel pretty good.
Yeah.
All I know is Berto
So when
better
you
wrap.
just when you draft eliminators, do you always have your little cheat sheet pulled up with the schedule?
I have it up at all times.
I
And
normally do. I don't have my other laptop in this room right now because I always take it with me to my girls' soccer and do some stuff on it
yeah,
there. And I didn't know we were drafting eliminators. So we'll
I
fall
just
back to you.
so I actually have a window with like five or six tabs up that I keep,
Yeah.
and it's like properly sized to fit the StreamYard thing,
Ah,
and I
okay.
just keep it up as its own tab at all times. So then I can just share that screen, and then I basically run with the StreamYard in the background, and then the YouTube on the other screen, and then so
That makes sense.
yeah. Gibbs.
Gibbs, yeah, running
Yep.
back in the eliminator is a nice start if he's there.
Yep.
If he's gone, then I take Lamb, but like if I'm
I
at 6 or whatever.
I think I think it's CMC at before CD Lamb in this
Oh yeah?
myself. Yeah.
Maybe
Uh,
I need to get I just
well,
his
so
damn injuries, just
but
scare me.
that doesn't
I,
matter for this contest.
I mean, it
If
does, but it
if
doesn't. But
if
like,
he's not healthy week like if he's not healthy week 6, you've already made your money back at that point. Like it sucks if he gets hurt,
yeah, but
but
that's not what I'm trying to play for.
right, but like if he is healthy, like you're definitely going to want some shares of him in this.
I
Um,
take him like around 7 or 8 in the eliminator. I'm not saying I'm totally out on him. I still want Lamb a lot too. So I generally will go Lamb over CMC and then CMC and then get into like the Puka and neighbors.
so I'm a bull on Bijan Robinson. Like I have him 3 overall. I've had him 3 overall the entire time. I only
Mm-hmm.
have 3% Bijan in Eliminator because I cannot get an. I don't pick at 2 or 3. I only
Oh
pick
no.
at 1, 4, 5, 6. So I have quite a bit of Gibbs and a little bit of Jefferson and a lot of Chase, but I don't have any Bijan. And like it, I've did this is my 49th or 50th, and I've only got like 2 shares of him. So he's the player that I want the most of in all four. Like I don't want the most of them in all formats, but I want to be above. I want to be like 11 to 12% on Bijan in almost every format.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree with you. I like Bijan a lot. I'm not really taking a lot of Barkley. I
But
take Jefferson kind of after, for me,
so
normally it's like Chase, Jefferson, Robinson.
I
In the
say
eliminator, I'll switch them sometimes, but
so the only format I like Saquon in is weekly winners.
see, I don't play that.
Um, I don't play it a lot, but like he absolutely destroys the NFC East every time he plays them,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it's just a good thing. Like you got Derrick Henry, Brian Thomas, which is exactly what you would get in the other contest, but flipped. I love it. I love like,
Yeah.
and it makes
Yeah.
sense. Like this makes sense. But it's just kind of funny. All right, so we have Jonathan Taylor, Ladd, Bucky, Jacobs available, and Rasheed Rice. Ladd,
I'm good with
Jacob,
Ladd. Yeah, I like Ladd a lot. Jacobs, I'll actually take in the eliminator if you want Jacobs.
I'm good.
Because I like Jacobs as a player. I just hate that playoff schedule. But the eliminator is the one place I still will take Jacobs. But I
So
also like Ladd.
Ladd, uh, Patrick Surtain on the Broncos. I believe he never travels to the slot. And I went over this with somebody the other day, and they were like, "Well, if he's great, he will." I'm like, a lot of
It
the
was
great,
me and you talking
yeah,
about
okay,
Rasheed Rice last night.
yeah. So like, I don't believe that. Like Namdi
Yeah.
Asamoah never did anything but play that one side of the field. And there's a lot of like I don't know exactly how much he travels and all that. I mean, I could bring it up and look uh, and see if I can find it real quick. But um, a lot of the or like the elite corners, they get really good. The reason they're so good is because they fit the defense really well and they understand what the other people behind them are going to do, and it allows them to be more aggressive.
I
And
agree with that for and like early especially. Like no, the point I was kind of making with the whole KC Denver week 17 thing is like, all right, if it comes down to like let's say your Chiefs aren't quite just as runaway with the division as they have been, and let's say that game's meaningful. Like if the Broncos win, they tie them record wise or something, then like I do see, a scenario where late in the year like that or playoffs, it will be done. Like Stingley, Miko hardly ever moves Stingley around in the
yeah,
playoff game. Now it wasn't the slot, but in the playoff game against Cleveland, he basically put him on Amari Cooper wherever Amari Cooper went. And so later in the year, I do think sometimes teams will be more willing to do that. You
I
know
think
who it is
I,
here
I
for me,
was gonna
but
say I think we have the same idea here. Remember,
probably
remember Thad. Running backs matter. There you go.
got to take my boy Lamar. I
Oh
want as
yeah,
much
I
Lamar on as many teams as I can get him this year.
there. There's a bunch of people that believe elite quarterback is bad for this format, and I think it's really good. Like as long as you have like we have Jameer Gibbs, we have 40 point upside, right?
Mm-hmm.
So why not get our floor quarterback that also has upside, and then just only build two. Uh, and maybe you like the three quarterback approach makes sense, but like everybody's like, well, you just take your shots and they'll replace the same. Well, that's true at every position. That's why it's all about just building very strong teams. Like
Mm-hmm.
you want to build teams that can get a lot of points at every position every time, right? Like so now if we add Jalen Hurts in the next round, like that's kind of wasted points to me. Um, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking it up. I'm actually remembering a little bit that okay, here we go. So he only played 77 slot snaps and 827 corner. And if I remember right, a bunch of those slot snaps may have been against Kelsey, um, which would be kind of hilarious with that argument. But um, yeah, I just know that they don't necessarily move him as much. And like, if it it depends on how the team deploys stuff against him as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Stingley also doesn't move. A lot of the best, like I don't think what's his name, Sauce Gardner. I don't think he moved around when he was great. So and it's just something that like, and it just feels like the corners have a side that they're better at for some reason.
Yeah, yeah, no, and I agree. And you're right. Like more times than not, when Kansas City and Denver plays in Week 17, the corner's not going to move. They're going to, if anything, they're going to say, okay, well, we know we have this left side of our defense
I,
locked down with the corner. We can maybe try to double Rice coming out of the slot
I
with, our slot corner and safety over the top or
yeah. So
whatever.
I'm remembering what actually happened now last year with it. So we'll go over it after this. I am 100% Omari and Hampton if we have that chance here, but I am up for whatever you want. I have my own personal ranks in for Eliminator as well.
Huh.
He takes Hampton, so we could take Chuba, secure that up. We can go Tet or Cortland Sutton.
I'm not super high on Chuba. I would go Tet and let's see what running back comes back to us. We know Tet's going to get, if I got to take a piece
So
of Carolina in the fourth round, I'd rather take the receiver that I feel like is getting a lot of targets.
so the running backs tend to be pushed up quite a bit up until about
Yes.
the eighth round. And then they tend to be a little more normal because everybody's already overreached on them. And I've seen a couple teams that I've really liked, not ones that I've drafted, but they go elite and then they go with a quarterback or tight end and then like five straight receivers within there.
Yes.
And those teams always look good because like you could take like a Najee or a Charbonnet or a Stevenson or J.K. Dobbins or whatever and get two more guys or like and then like add uh, Eckler and Rashad White. So you get two of those guys along with Jameer Gibbs, and then you take two extra running backs later, and like you have projectable volume early, um, and you are very strong at wide receiver. And I tend to like those teams a lot in Eliminator that I've seen people do.
Yeah, no, I like that, and yes, I take a fair amount of those guys later in the draft that you know what you're kind of getting with them, especially on, like you said, on a team like this where we have Gibbs. I just thought that, like, if we passed on receiver, I was with you on Hampton. Like, if Hampton wouldn't have went right before us, I thought he was
Yeah,
the pick there.
I
But
think
once he went,
there's a gigantic like a gigantic drop off between Hampton and like, people don't are scared of rookies in Eliminator, but Hampton's going to have a role early. It might not be the
mhm,
biggest role. I mean, we could. I don't love Zay Flowers, but I'm fine with the stack here. Devonta Smith or Xavier Worthy. Like Xavier Worthy gives us knockout potential. So does
I think
Smith.
Flowers does also though, but
Yeah,
maybe I'm just higher on him than you.
we'll take
I mean, it's like if you look at his stat line from last year, if he falls into the end zone 2 to 3 more times, in
yeah.
which he was close a couple of times, and got tackled, say with inside the 10. If he had 3 more touchdowns, people look at him a totally different way this year than what they look at him.
Yeah, Najee will have a role. Um, I actually think that by week, like, and for Eliminator, it doesn't matter as much, but I feel like by week 10, the snap share is going to be like 18-7 or something in favor of Hampton or the rushes. I still think Najee will have a role. I just think it'll be a very small role. I could see them doing the two drives to one drive thing that some teams have done in the past, to where Najee gets his drives, but it's like every other drive. It's like every third drive or something.
That's kind of how I envision it also.
I think it's like the opposite of RJ and JK. I think I think JK will have a bigger role than RJ. And I think Hampton will have a bigger role than Najee. Yeah, they'll both still have roles, but I the thing is like Hampton's better at everything that Najee does than Najee is, and he's better at receiving. So
Mhm.
like I think once he's learned the offense, it's going to be it just wheels up. All right, so through five we have Jameer Gibbs, Ladd, Lamar, Tet, Zay Flowers. I like this
Mhm.
quite a bit. Ladd and Zay is a very like they offer a ceiling, but they also offer a big floor. Tet should be
Mhm.
some floor too, so we could take some. some shots now if we want.
How are you with tight end on eliminators? Do you tend to just go maybe like 3 late, or just totally punt it and go 2 later, or?
A sneeze never came. I felt it. It was there. Um, I I just kind of feel it out. Like it's I don't mind the elites, um, since they go like Browers goes. Bowers dropping in every format though, and
He has been.
so is McBride. I think they have a little less value, but I still think they have value. Um, I kind of like to get two guys that have projectable, like a Dallas Goddard and uh, what's his name, Jake Ferguson, like back to back or whatever. I don't
Mhm.
mind doing that and then just being done. Tight end scored the least amount of points overall. Yes, they can spike for you, but I just don't. Yeah, see, this is what I'm talking about. Like all the running backs get pushed up. Now we get wide receiver value, and then we'll get more wide receiver value, and then later. So which one do you want? Juwan Jennings here
Um,
feels pretty good.
yeah, Jawan Jennings, especially in an eliminator,
Yep.
we're certain he's not starting the year.
Yeah.
I think
Yep.
everyone's kind of on the same page. We don't know how much time he's going to miss, but I think everyone's
But
kind of set on him missing
but
some
yeah, I
time.
I think if you go elite and then maybe even a second one, like if we would have taken Jacobs, would have been fine, and then just hammered wide receiver. But in half the drafts, this happens, and right here,
Hmm.
and
Fear of
then
missing out.
those running backs don't get pushed up down here because and the ones that have a role, like people like Stevenson, like they don't value that role as a role, right? So
Yeah,
you can
no,
stack your
exactly.
wide receivers.
Hey, Mark's in your chat, and his favorite line when it comes to that type of build is zig when others zag.
Oh yeah, I need Chuba to be a workhorse. Did Chuba fall? Why is that? Is that just for other contests or what? Like he doesn't have Chuba, so I'm curious why he said that. Um, yeah, I like Eliminator though. I'm wanting. This is the one contest I want to max, and I'm probably going to regret it by week 6. Like that's how I feel. So I like Laporta in this contest a little
I
bit.
think he's a really good pick right here for us, at least. See what comes back to us at running back. We can go, 2 more running backs in the next 3 picks, and
Yeah.
probably feel pretty decent with our running back room.
I mean, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with Brian Robinson, who's kind of early, but
Go
or even
Laporta.
Laporta
You know,
sounds good.
I'm a big team correlation guy. It just
Yeah.
okay. If we have a week where Gibbs isn't really killing it, maybe we get lucky and it's because Laporta had a big week.
Well, it also, and I'm not saying you need to stack that much in Eliminator, but it doesn't hurt to do that either. So, no, just saying because Rico showed he can handle a little. Oh, okay. Yeah, and yeah, that's right because Rico will have a role. There's a lot of the guys at the back end that will have a role, and they were the ones that we took last time. Like uh, Rashad White, Eckler will definitely have a role, right? So, and
Mhm.
those are the ones that I think they're undervalued in like the BBM structures too. I think they've been undervalued for a while. Tajay Spears is one of those as well that I think he will definitely have a role. Um, I don't know if it's a projectable role like some of the other ones feel like, but I think he will definitely have a role.
The
Uh,
one thing that kind of scares me with Spears is like, I know the coaches are saying they want to get him more involved in stuff this year, but they told us that last year, and then that was not the case.
well, his was all injury stuff.
Yeah, but even once he kind of was back,
Well,
it wasn't as much a role as I was thinking last year it would have been.
well, no, he literally like he had I believe it was a high ankle sprain to start the season, and he never really recovered from it. And as soon as he recovered from it, then he had the concussions. So like
Yeah,
he
I guess that's true.
so like and then he finally got a chance when Pollard actually went out, and he crushed it. Like I think I'm not saying it's a bet that feels super safe, but it's a bet that has definitely has an avenue to win. Is how I feel about it. I think I'm like 9 or 10% on him. Yeah, Rico. I'm underweight Rico, and I don't love it. Like, so I had 45% Rico Dowdle last year in big board, and I can't get to him now. I mean, I would smash either one of those two wide receivers if they make it to us, or Downs even. I don't know what you think.
How's our bye week at receiver? 12,
We
14,
have two
7,
14s.
14.
We're pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm good
Uh,
with either one. Well, the other one win, but yeah, I'm good with Golden.
Golden or Mooney. I think
Go
uh,
Golden.
Golden. All right, Green Bay plays Detroit week 1, but that's fine. Like, I'm not worried about him not having a role early, and we get some ADP value there.
Well, and
I
we want that game to be, a nice game in week 1 to help make sure that we get into the head-to-head matchups with Laporta and Gibbs and Golden. So that's fine if
Yeah,
we could let that game be a shootout.
yeah. I mean, we don't we're not even relying on him to do anything early in the season. Hopefully, like because hopefully it's Ladd, Tet, Zay Flowers, and Jennings, and like Flowers, Jennings, and Ladd feel incredibly safe for a floor with having two rookies.
Mhm.
But with that being said, this could be, and I hate to say it because I don't take these two players very often, but it could be a Wandale team, like very late. Um, uh,
For
and like I
what? Well,
said,
I mean, what is your thinking there?
just because we have the two rookie wide receivers,
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
like just
I don't
just
know.
in case, I don't think I want to play that way, but I think there's a player here that we would love to have right there, assuming that Thad
Yeah.
doesn't want his. I think that's a Thad player. Are you good with Najee there?
E- Either him or Stevenson, either one. Probably a little early for Stevenson though.
Stevenson usually doesn't go this early, but there we'll
Do
just
it
take
do
the
it that way because there's always the chance
yep.
that he comes back to us.
That was exactly what I was going to say. Whenever you're split, just take the lower ADP guy or the higher ADP
Exactly.
guy. Yeah. If something were to happen to Chuba, the train keeps rolling. I was saying this before Ben Gretsch got on it, but Trevor Etienne like looked a lot better as a prospect than I expected him to. Like I pretty much no sold him. And whenever I finally I watched some film and I didn't see a whole lot, and then whenever I watched more film, I was like, he's actually way more explosive than I seen originally. And like I usually try to go back and watch people a second time because sometimes maybe I was just in the mood to watch that kind of player, right? So
Mhm.
or maybe I was not in the mood to watch somebody that looked like that. Or maybe I watched the wrong tape, something like that, right? And I want to watch it multiple different days because my mood affects my opinions. I'm human. So
Totally agree.
like I went back and I watched like a 3 minute clip and I'm like, this guy does nothing, and I just turned it off. And then whenever I actually sat down to really watch it, I was like, he's better than I thought he was. I'm not saying he's elite, but Carolina spent a 4th round pick on him, and he profiles as the kind of guy who could be the receiving back out of the backfield if he can get his pass blocking wrapped up. So and by the way, if you are new to the channel or if you've been here for a while, this is JT Bestball. I have all of his information in the descriptions below. Uh, he's on X. He streams every weeknight at 10 p.m. I believe
Yeah,
10
pretty
p.m.
much 6
Central.
days a week except for Saturdays. It's the only day I don't really go live.
Yeah, and then I will be over there on his channel on Wednesday night. So,
Correct.
and we will be doing what, eliminators? I think you said.
Eliminators, yeah, I thought
Yeah,
we'd do a couple of them because I want to get my. I kind of took a break with all the fun tournaments they've had going on.
I
I
think
really haven't been drafting them as much as I wanted to, so I
I'm
kind of
pretty
want to.
sure we get a big tournament drop tomorrow. Like
Okay, that would be
because
nice.
the Chihuahua filled, the Super Flex Puppy filled, and the Pit Bull is like 98%. So it's gonna be full. So is either
Let's
you
see.
looking? We will
For
get
me
to that.
here, if you're willing to really get scary at running back, there's a receiver that I like a lot here, which I think will, yep, help
This
us
one,
not have to rely on Wandell Robinson
this,
later. Yeah,
this guy.
I'm big on Higgins. Yes, yes, him. No, Higgins.
So yeah, I think I'm fine with that. You don't want Johnny Smith?
No,
All
no, no, thank you.
right, all right. Uh, Either you looking to do dog bowl entries this week, or is that I don't have the funds
This
to do
year.
that. Like, because if you want to invest in the dog bowl, you like I feel like it's one of those things you need to max it, and you need to max it every week, and that's
Now,
it's what
is the
it's like
dog
20.
bowl, is that the BR, the battle royale things
Well,
they
it's
do?
like I think it's 12 and like it's uh 12 people battle royale. So there's 12
Oh.
people in it,
Okay.
and
See,
then
I'm
and
y'all
then
gotta
it's total.
remember I'm new to
Yeah,
underdog.
and then it's a daily, so it's total points on top of that, and then you basically get a like you're playing for a seat. I'm probably gonna
Mhm,
do like the Wildcat, which is a 50 max $3. I so every week it's like $150 to max that. I think
mhm.
that's what I'll play. Like that's probably what I'm planning on streaming right now. Unless I like, I'll probably do a battle royale or two here and there, or like I'll do the single entry stuff, or like the deposit kingdom, $3 or 3 entry 10
So what
max.
is the difference? Well, here, let's make this pick.
I think we have to go RB here.
Yes, yes, yes. RB here for sure. I was trying to see either one of those two you just clicked, I'd
I
be
think
okay with.
Davis, yeah.
Your favorite. I like them both. Davis probably.
Because I want one of these two guys, hopefully.
Mhm.
And if we don't get one of those two, we probably are scrambling a little. But like there are some guys that get volume down here as well.
Mhm.
Um,
Now, question for you, because I'm kind of thinking about. I want to keep my channel going year round too. You know, I'm new to streaming. I just started this summer, and so I was thinking about getting into like the weekly type stuff that Underdog does. Now, I've never played in any of them before. What is the difference between the 50 max thing that you were talking about? I forget Wildcat you called it. What's the difference between like that and just what I hear of as their BR drafts or whatever?
It's the same thing. It's just one
Okay,
seven,
okay,
one $7, one $3.
okay,
The
okay.
$7 one is 150 max, and the $3 is a 50 max. They have a they had one last year. I think it was the full. I think it was the full. Like I don't remember what all of them are named. I think the fullback dive was an 8 max $25 tournament. So like it's all the same though. It's all the scoring is the same. You just draft down
Hmm.
draft down a room, and then it's total points. So
I'm kind of interested in those, and I played a whole
yeah,
lot of DFS for years before I got into best ball, and in the last 2 years I haven't really done much DFS, but
I
that was all over on DraftKings, of course. But that is kind of also what I planned on doing this year during the season.
yeah, I'll probably do that. I might transition. I haven't decided yet. I might transition into like a start sit thing on top of it. I don't know. I'll do something. I'm probably definitely like one day is definitely going to be Wildcats. I'll probably just do Wildcats, like a couple Wildcats every day,
Hmm.
or and do like a kind of
I'll
like
tell you a fun idea I have too, and you might like it too, since I know you said you want to do a lot of eliminators. Is I think like on a Tuesday or so, do a couple of the BR drafts leading up to that Thursday game or whatever. But then you can also spend some time and, have kind of your eliminator update, where you like,
Yeah,
all right, like here's what eliminator
yeah.
teams are still alive. If maybe there's a notable person you play in one of your head to heads the following
That,
week or something
that
like
that's
that.
what I was gonna say. I was gonna do like a portfolio review kind
Hmm.
of thing, and I won't go through like starting like week 10 to 12 or something. I'll probably start looking at the whole thing. Like I will be
Yeah,
looking at
yeah.
it. I won't be doing it on stream every week,
Yeah, yeah. No, it
but
doesn't
like
make sense for the season long ones.
for like the eliminator or weekly winners, like
Hmm.
because I'll have some. Rashad White went. Eckler is available. I think Eckler's kind of needed for our team. Do
Agreed.
you
Yeah,
agree?
Eckler's good. We need to start catching up some at running back. That
I
gives us
I mean,
four dudes that are going to be playing at least
yeah,
in
these are
that.
four dudes that are gonna have a role week one. Gibbs is gonna be the guy. We're gonna win. We're gonna beat this room at receiver. We're gonna stay decent at tight end. We're gonna win. We're gonna win quarterback. We're gonna win wide receiver, right? And then
Hmm.
we're just gonna stay alive at RB with the 40-point ceiling that Jameer Gibbs brings. So right here, this is kind of exactly what I was talking about. Like any of these. So with likely, I don't know how you feel, but if I take Isaiah Likely, I feel like I'm required to go three tight ends. He puts up a ton of zeros, like under 4 points. So to me, I
Even
feel
on a
like,
team where you had Laporta as your
yeah,
other
no,
one, kind of
I
holding it
believe
down.
he is only a spike week guy. I think that's all he ever offers. Um, that's just how
Fair.
I feel about it. And people hate to believe this, but you are allowed to flex a tight end. Like
True.
it is something you are allowed to do. Like I went over this
Let's
a couple
see.
weeks ago. Um,
I would say for me, kind of your similar thinking. I don't really like Kincaid on two tight end teams just because he's not always that reliable. I wouldn't have a problem with Ferguson, and I was actually going to recommend trying to talk you into Blue, but I see our boy Real
ah,
Time just took him. So let's do Ferguson, and then I'm
sounds
okay
good.
with a Ferguson Laporta room for sure.
Yeah, and we could add a third, but we don't have to. So this is what I was talking about. Like last year, this is Likely's points. So he had the giant game there, and then he had a pretty good game there. But he had a 4 point, 1 point, 3 point. This is full PPR too. Then
Hmm.
5, 4, 0. A couple like okay games, but then another three. Like he just has a lot of really low games.
Yeah, if we had anything less than we do with like say Laporta or someone above Laporta, I would say yeah for sure. I would always
Whoops.
want a third. I think you just closed out of
I
the
yeah
Underdog app. I did
yeah.
that once before. I've kicked
I meant
myself
to.
off of stream and left my guests just hanging
Yeah.
there like, what is going on?
Well, I clicked the share tab in Chrome thing,
Yeah.
and I didn't go back to the original one to click it before I went and closed out the player profiler.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, we will. I think I like the way that this is building out, though. We could look at another quarterback here
I was
soonish,
I
like
was just about to suggest maybe getting us one more so we feel well.
your
Ooh,
boy. They're all gone.
no,
They are
they're
all
all
gone.
gone. You know
I
what though? I would say I would say Daniel Jones because at least he adds a little bit of mobility, and I feel like right now the way it stands, I feel comfortable that he'll be there through Lamar's bye week. And if we could just get another quarterback to get us through Lamar's bye week, if we get to week 8 and now Lamar's bye week's out the way, and I believe Gibbs, what bye week is Gibbs? Isn't it kind of early too?
uh, they have week 8.
They both have week 8. So like if we could get through week, 8 or get to week 8 at least and then get through week
Who'd you
8,
say
like
both have week 8?
Not both
Oh,
have week
Laporta.
8, but they both have early. Like Laporta and Gibbs has week
Yeah.
8. Lamar is week 7. And so I was just thinking like Daniel Jones provides a little bit of, rushing upside. So, and I think he'll still be their starter come week 7 at least. I guess my point was if we get through Lamar's bye week and we're still alive, then even if Daniel Jones ends up getting benched or something,
Yeah.
we're good. We're okay.
I I don't love Aaron Rodgers this year, but I think in this it would be okay. Daniel, like we have to take one now, so we can take. I'm fine with either one. If you want Daniel Jones, we can take Daniel Jones. If you
Mm,
want Rodgers,
either
we can
one.
take.
We don't have time to see who they play in week 7, but either
Yeah,
either one is
my chart stops at week 6,
okay.
but week 1, Aaron Rodgers plays the Jets in the revenge game,
Yeah,
and
but I mean, how many weeks does he
we'll
actually
take
still end up, outscoring Lamar?
we'll take Daniel Jones here. So the Colts week 1
They
play
play
the
the Chargers week 7. So that could be
that's
an
that's fine.
interesting little game for us.
And to be honest, like
But the Steelers play the Bengals, so maybe that would have been better. Oh well. We didn't have
oh
time to look
wow,
it up
yeah,
on the fly.
yeah. I said I didn't have it. I'm an idiot. I have all the games right here. I so I've updated my eliminator spreadsheet. If you have the spreadsheet, I added
Okay.
this. It's weeks 1 through 6, week 7 through 12, week 13 through
I
18,
need to go get that. I just
and
have the
and
other
that
one
that is
with
for
the little
weekly winners
chart.
specifically. Like
Okay.
so you can go look if you want to try to play matchups and stuff. Uh, but it's there. It's basically there to like look. I forgot that I done that the other day. Um, I think we
But
take an
we're on the
RB.
clock.
Yeah, Braylon Sanders,
I don't uh, I'm not
Shipley.
I've kind of been backing off of Sanders.
Yeah, I mean this is eliminator, but we only have
Sure,
10 seconds. So
sure. You can go Sanders or Allen, either one, but Sanders makes more sense. If no one gets traded there, then or they
yeah,
don't pick up somebody, then you know.
yeah, and all
I
we're
guess I
doing
was
is looking.
already go ahead.
Um, we're only looking for somebody to get 8 to 10 points to survive us with Gibbs, right?
Hmm.
Like that's all we're really looking for.
I was already kind of backing off on Sanders as he started moving up a little bit on the board, and then so I know you said you like listening to it too, and I was actually listening to the Ben Gretch and Leone thing today on the AFC South, and I forget which one of them. I think it was Gretch was making an interesting point about Tank possibly being traded or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, I've heard that
And
a lot, and
if he gets traded, the Cowboys seem like a really nice spot that would just totally wipe out Javante and Sanders pretty much all together, at least as far as goal line and early down work and stuff like that.
so I don't agree with this. I think I think Javante Williams is the desperate pick, um, because like whichever one is the most expensive pick of those feels like the most like
Hmm.
desperate one to me. I think
Yeah.
like if their ADPs were flipped, I'd probably just be taking Javante here and there.
Well, and you made a good
I
point with it being an eliminator. Like it's fine. Like there is definitely a world if nobody gets traded there or they
yeah,
don't pick up anybody of significance that's a surprise camp cut, then like there is very decent chance that that Sanders is a very usable player in the early weeks for us.
yeah. So generally, I will like to add. I want one rookie upside pick at the back end of this running back room.
Yeah.
No, and he's over here talking about desperate picks. We took Daniel Jones at 164.
That was the desperate pick.
I, Sanders ain't got shit on Daniel Jones at 164. I'm sorry. like if you're gonna call us out on a pick, call us out on the right pick. uh, yeah,
I would agree with that. Hopefully
yeah.
he
I
doesn't
mean,
fall
we
on
we
his
were
face.
forced to him or Rogers, but like, yeah, So I don't love it, but we could always do the A Rich Daniel Jones thing.
I don't think we need to do that
I
though,
don't think
because
we do
like,
either. I was just saying it's an option.
yeah. I think there's a decent chance that Jones would Jones is the starter at this point, right? I mean,
Do we
unless
take the
Anthony Richardson showed. Oh, we're on the clock.
yeah? So I don't actually. So do we want? Let's go with a wide receiver here. Like, which guy do you like?
None of them. But if
None
you
of them.
make me pick,
Miami.
Keenan Allen, Keenan Allen, reach way down if we're gonna go for it. No, that's too early for him. Never mind. Go back to running back real quick. Go back to running back. We got time.
We don't. We have one
Pick
second.
whoever. Pick whoever. Just click
It
some.
we'll just like it wasn't too early. We're in round 16. So like
I
ADP
hate
doesn't
all
matter at
those
this point.
receivers. Diami Brown is probably the best of them, but I really don't like
Well,
taking him unless I have Lawrence. But this is an eliminator, so
we're
whatever.
looking for because we have three rookies, we just want somebody who's going to be running routes that week.
Yeah, yeah.
That's like so I should have talked it out more, but in my mind I wanted a wide receiver that'd be running routes for sure week 1.
Hmm.
Like because we have the three. Now we know Ted's going to be running routes week 1, most likely Higgins and most likely Golden, right? Like but
And
we
that's
don't
why I
know
was
how
screaming out Allen just because I don't know.
yeah.
And I'm probably wrong for it, but I am still drafting with the assumption that 100% he
I
goes to a team and wherever he goes to, he'll be running routes week 1. He's an old veteran. He's in no rush to go
I
somewhere.
take him in round 20 often. So I kind of like Dylan Sampson here if he's available. I think of these three, for Eliminator specifically, like he has the best chance. Him and Hunter are the two that I think have a definite chance to have a role in the early season.
Hmm.
With Brashard Smith, I've taken him an Eliminator with Mahomes, but like I kind of want to make sure he has a role for the Eliminator specifically. Like Dylan Sampson and Hunter, I think I could say with reasonable confidence they will. So which one of these
Hmm.
three do you prefer?
Well, for me, it's always Giddens, but I also like Hunter. I
All right.
agree with you that Hunter has more of a role with the starter healthy than Giddens does. I do agree
Yeah.
with that. So if that's what we're going for, then it's Hunter.
Yeah. Well, for this and like Giddens as a just a pure upside, like is a very good pick. Like because if Taylor goes down, it's a great pick.
And you know, my biggest Giddens is actually my highest owned player, and my whole like case behind it is one, I absolutely love him as a prospect. I love him as a runner. I think he can pass block good enough as a rookie. He can catch the ball. He's electric. He's got juice. And there has not been a season that Jonathan Taylor has played that he was not hurt for at least a few games with an ankle
Yeah.
or whatever. And so, like, I feel like there's going to be a couple games where he gets on the field. And then there's always the big upside if Taylor was to miss like a lot of time. And I don't know. That's just I really like him. And so he's anytime you get to that like, you know,
Yeah.
180-ish range and I want to run him back with upside, he's
This
always my
this is
first
kind of
choice.
what my thought on it. Al Boogie put it into better words. Like unless you have three solid starters, you can't really just take upside, like pure upside, like Shipley and like that's kind of how I play it in all the tournaments too. Like if I have three running backs by Brian Robinson, or
Hmm.
I consider Cam Scadaboo in that. Like if I have three by then, I'm more willing to take the upsides, like the DJ Giddens and the Shipleys
Hmm.
in them.
Go
Uh,
back to our running backs real quick. Let's look at our team real quick.
we got
Cause see, I guess in my mind, I'm just looking at it like we only have Gibbs as a for sure starter. But I
right.
guess I was just looking at it like, well, between Najee, Ray Davis, and Eckler, and then in our scenario where no one else goes there and Sanders is useful, I just felt like between those four, we probably had enough that On top of that,
Do,
we had Gibbs to where it was okay to take an upside pick like
do we
that.
want to
But
take another RB or another court?
what do we have? Two quarterbacks, two tight ends. The tight ends we said we were done. What's the top of the board?
It's Andre Yosh or it's Calvin
Um,
Austin. I mean, Tyler Shuck as a third quarterback
I
just randomly.
I just don't think it's really helping us much, to be honest. I would rather swing for somebody like a Brooks or a Mitchell. I like Brooks.
Okay, sounds good. I love Brooks, so that's kind of yeah. I wanted a couple shots here. I think that's fine.
Hmm.
All right, we got a 2.772. This is an eliminator. Lowest projected points I've seen on an eliminator team. uh, Lamar, Daniel Jones. Then we got Jameer Gibbs, Najee Harris, Ray Davis, Austin Eckler, Miles Sanders, Hunter, Taj Brooks. Feels fine. Wide receivers: Lad, Tet, Zay Flowers, Juwan Jennings, Matthew Golden, Jaden Higgins, and Diami Brown. That's a very
Hmm.
serviceable wide receiver room. Like this is where we're gonna win if we win. And then Sam Laporta and Ferguson, like it's just do not lose at tight end. That's what this says. Like we just
Hmm.
need to be in the running at tight end.
Hmm.
Yeah, I like it. I know the projected
It's
points are
not my
low, but
favorite team ever, but I definitely like it, and I definitely think it could work for us if things go right. I don't ever do you so curious. Do you ever really pay any attention to your projected points? Because I don't, to be honest. It depends on how
I
many running backs and quarterbacks you have. Like,
yeah. No, I just notice it. I don't pay attention per
yeah,
se, but I'm very perceptive and I just happen to notice things. Like
yeah.
and
And then I'm
and like only having two quarterbacks, you're going to have a lot less projected points every single time. And then also
exactly.
like if you start running back heavy, you're also going to have a lot more projected points. So it's just like it depends on how you draft more than anything. Like
Hmm.
and that's like projected points for the season. Like that's total points for the entire team.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
doesn't mean like with spikes and stuff like that, right? So we team is good. I joined every lobby. Say the word. Are you done? Are you staying? I don't know if I'll do another draft.
I have to get out of here in just a second. Yeah, it's getting that time of day where I gotta go cook dinner and stuff like that for everybody. But real quick, to Mark had a question, and I'm curious your thoughts. I'll say mine first before I get out of here. Um, Quorum to me is not a guy that I'm at all interested in because, like, I really think, especially with Hunter there, that Quorum's role pretty much relies on Williams being hurt. And then, like, if Williams is in that scenario, if I'm drafting a back who only like becomes a usable player when there's an injury to the starter, there's just so many other running backs that I like so much better for that role. And whereas with Hunter, like you said, Hunter has a role, right? They drafted him because they wanted to add more explosiveness as a running back out of the backfield to go
Yeah,
with Kyron. They want to probably get him some in the passing game. And then you still have that if Kyron was to get hurt, it's not going to be 80% Quorum. And with just a little bit of Hunter, Hunter's just going to start playing a lot more. Quorum will be in there, but Hunter's just going to also, therefore, get more snaps.
yeah. I took like no Blake Corum at the big board until he finally got like super cheap, and I was like, I'll mix him in here and there, and I just regret it. I regret every time every time I see a team of mine that has a Blake Corum on it. I even did it in one of my $100. Like I was like, I did it with Kyron and with Blake Corum on the different bigger board teams. I was like, I don't want to like if they don't draft somebody, they're both probably okay picks, but they're probably going to draft somebody. And instead of spreading the bet across all the big boards, I just took a share of each. And like the Kyron one, like I got him at like 30 38 or something. Like it was late for
Hmm.
that time. I to be honest, like Hunter is the only running back in that room I'm even willing to touch. Like I hit the little X button on my rankings for Corum. Like I don't see him. He does not
And
exist.
I think you're not too into Kyron, are you?
Yeah, I'm like 1.2% now or something. So
See,
it's
I don't know. I don't get the Kyron hate. I mean, um, I
I
still think
think they're
he's a
gonna.
good pick.
So he goes around Brees Hall, and I'm going to take Brees Hall 100% of the time over him. And then
Agree.
I'm also going to take the elite quarterbacks over him almost every time now,
Hmm.
including Jaden Daniels. So, and it's not very often that Kyron makes it back after you've taken Jaden Daniels, right? Like if you take Jaden Daniels at like there, like I like the wide receivers in that range quite a bit. Uh, and then I like the elite quarterbacks. And then for him, like I think every move in the offseason the Rams have done say we want to throw the ball. They went out, they got a running back for explosives. It's supposed to be better in the pass game. Uh, he's not great at pass blocking, but Kyron Williams is great at pass blocking,
Hmm.
but like he doesn't catch the ball very much. The he will be in on some goal line. Like he's not going to be like a complete bust pick, but I know people saying this about Chase Brown. I think Kyron is being drafted as absolute ceiling right now. If that offense goes in the direction that they plan, like I believe they're going to go, like look at what they did, like with the offseason. Uh, they signed Devontae Adams, and then they went out and drafted their first pick, Terrence Ferguson, to improve the pass game, and then they went out and took Jarquez Hunter with like their third pick to improve the pass game through the running back. So, to
Hmm.
me, like I like to look at the story of the offseason, and I'm not always right on it, but the story to me tells me that hey, the Rams want to pass the ball more this year.
No, I agree with that, and but they still gotta you're still gonna run, when they're on the goal line and stuff like that. If they're up, they're still gonna run. So I don't know. I guess maybe I've just gotten lucky that so he's not like a my guy. Like right now I
Yeah,
have
yeah.
like 6% of him. I'll probably honestly finish in the let's say 5 to 9% range, somewhere in there. And most of the time when I've taken him, it's been whenever he's there, early fourth versus late third. And it's probably because even if Jaden's there, I've already taken my boy Lamar. So I'm free to
Yeah.
grab me, a running back. Or sometimes if I have like Evans, then I'll take him because it kind of
I
makes sense or whatever.
so like and I talked about this yesterday on my stream, but like a lot of us price anchor in our heads. Like we stop taking a player because we don't like the price. Then when the price moves, we still don't like the player because we didn't like the price originally and we don't adjust. And Kyron is like I still don't like I didn't like the price in the early or the middle of the third. Like
I
at
agree.
all. At all. But lately he does fall to like around 40 sometimes.
Hmm.
And I'm almost interested there, but like I'm Amari and Hampton over Kyron straight up.
See,
Uh,
I think I
like
like Hampton. I mean, Kyron over Hampton.
yeah, and I'm probably wrong, but like in my mind, Hampton is just a better pick than Kyron. I collect cards and events and rookies a lot. Bought into Corum watching his game against Alabama. Can't hit on everything. Nice. Yeah, but yeah, I think I'm gonna end the stream after this. Go ahead and do your plugs and uh
um, Just JT Bestball on YouTube. We're on pretty much 6 nights a week at 10 p.m. Central. Like Kuhaim said, he's going to be on there drifting some eliminators with me Wednesday night. I got a fun show coming up tomorrow. It's not on my channel, but you guys know where the garage is. Go over to Chris the Candyman. We did it last week. We're going to do it again tomorrow. It's going to be me and him and Hartman having some fun over on Chris's channel Tuesday night. And that'll be at, I think, probably about 9 p.m. Central. But
yeah, I
yeah,
think
other than that, it was fun.
yeah, had a good time. thanks everybody for coming out. You got all my information down below. You got all of his information down below. Please leave a comment. Smash the like if you're watching later. I appreciate everybody. I'll be back tomorrow, 4 p.m. See everybody later.